talking about patent versus vis-a-vis public health. So that will be the subject matter of today's discussion. So I just straightway go to my presentation, which is on drug patent vis-a-vis public health. That will be the issue today that we will be discussing, all of you. So as far as yesterday we discussed about what is patent. Patent is basically intellectual property consists of certain exclusive rights which are granted by a sovereign state. Sovereign state here means law to an inventor or their assignee for a limited period of time in exchange for the public disclosure of an invitation. So whatever he disclosure made publicly regarding his invention, that is registered, and it gives an exclusive right by the sovereign state to the inventor or his assignee so that he can be protected from any kind of infringement. So this was the basic meaning of the patent. So it means if somebody has developed certain kind of formula and got it patented, then definitely he has exclusive right that without his permission nobody else can use, nobody else can produce certain kind of goods from that kind of formula which has been developed by that. Now when we consider it from the health point of view, because public health is a very prime importance for any kind of government. So any government has basic and primary responsibility that everybody, the citizens of India should be in the good health. If they face any kind of physical health problems, they should be provided a good quality of medicines, and their health should not be compromised at any cost. Similarly, if a patentee has got a right, exclusive right, he has no right to exploit the other people because of his invention, or he has no right that he should have a monopoly to produce the goods. When some kind of exigencies arise, the government may put restrictions on it. And if the patent is for 20 years, even government may allow other persons for the research and development to develop alternative medicines which can be cost effective and useful for all those people. So therefore, here we have to consider that patent is very important aspect wherever health issue is there, that we have to consider that because of the monopoly should not be created in the because of the exclusive right. So this is a matter of concern for the any government, any sovereign states, and we should consider regarding this. So as far as patents are concerned, when we talk about the health issues, it is concerned with the pharmaceutical patents. Pharmaceutical patents means the patents which are in the field of medicine or manufacturing of certain kind of prescription drugs, these etc. So pharmaceutical patents protect manufacturers of prescription drugs, prohibiting others from producing a drug during the length of its patent protection without the consent of the inventors. So the length of these patents varies from country to country. For example, in India, we have the length of 20 years, but in other countries, some countries have 15 years, some country has 20 years. So it varies from 15 to 20 years as far as this pharmaceutical patent is concerned. In US, pharmaceutical patent is valid for 20 years like in India, and drug company usually apply for patent protection before they actually begin producing the drug, opting instead of secure their rights to particular compound at the beginning of the testing process, because once you get a patent, it takes time to manufacture it, and most of the time it has been observed that sometime it takes 3 to 4 years and the patent is for 20 years. So it means the period is restricted to 16 years only if it takes 4 years to produce or manufacture the any kind of drug. Similarly, it needs certain clinical trials also, as we are witnessing these days for COVID-19. Many companies, many research labs are struggling to develop a vaccine for COVID-19. Then it is going to take so much time. If a company produces any product or a patent got it from certain formula to prepare the vaccine for COVID-19, So it will take some time. So if they got it patented, then it may take 3, 4, 5 years to manufacture these drugs on a large scale basis. So this is a matter of concern. Second issue, which is with the government, that nobody should have a monopoly on the drugs. On the one hand, the pandemic is rising. On the other hand, if some companies try to use these kind of patents as a monopoly and try to reap profits from the people, which is not affordable to them, that is a matter of concern. So therefore, to ensure health of the people is also a matter of concern while giving exclusive right to any person for his invention. So these things need to be considered in detail, and trade related intellectual property right, TRIPS or WTO, or similarly the different laws of the country are very concerned about it, and they have made certain provisions. If such kind of situation arise that the people are not able to get the right kind of medicine at the cost effective manner, then they may put some restrictions on the exclusive right of the inventor and may allow others for research and development purposes to develop some kind of other alternative medicines which are known as generic medicines, which are less costly as compared to the medicines which are produced by the good companies at the large scale. So this is one of the issue which need to be considered. So as far as drug patent is concerned, by the time a drugs comes into market, there may be only 8 to 8 years of the patent protection remaining. This is also a matter of concern, which is significantly less than the 20 years offered by the patent. So companies often attempted to extend these patents by making slight reformulations of the original compound or proving its effectiveness at treating a condition other than one which was originally granted for a patent. So this is called evergreening of a product. So sometimes you develop a medicine, got it patented, but that time period is coming closer for the expiry of this patent, that is 20 years. But what the company do, they do certain reformulations of the main compound and develop certain alternative and new medicine. So this is called evergreening, and both of the people, most of the people have criticized these kind of evergreening because it is just to extend the patent for a particular period of time, which may be a manipulations on their side. So public health is very important from any government. So therefore, while granting the exclusive right to the inventors to have their own inventions in the form of a patent, they must consider that first it is to ensure that affordable medicines should have access of the public. So access to affordable medicine should be ensured to the general public, that is low income in developing countries. We are in process of development, that is we are developing countries. Similarly, people don't have health insurance, lack of health insurance, and most of the people are out of pocket for health insurance, and they have limited resources for publicly funded treatment like in India. So therefore, in India, if we are granting certain kind of exclusive rights to the people or the public, then we must ensure that while granting these exclusive rights, the interest of the low income people, interest of the people regarding the publicly funded treatments, that must be ensured before granting any exclusive, or there must be certain provisions in the law. If it happens that somebody tries to create monopoly, or there is a need to develop certain uh, alternative medicines in the form of the low cost effective medicines, then we should consider all these things. Similarly, we need to develop innovative medicine, for example, for the curing of the HIV, for the curing of the AIDS, now for the curing of the COVID-19 also. There may be certain other diseases predominantly affecting the people like TB, sleeping sickness, river blindness. These are the certain problems which usually occur in the developing countries, and low cost or free medicine has to be ensured by the government, or very nominal price medicine should be ensured by the government. So in this way, we have to restrict the exclusive right and grant others also that they can produce the medicine low cost effective, so that people can be cured regarding this. So basically, when we say patent, patent only gives a to the inventor an exclusive right. Patent is not a permit to put a product on the market. So it does not give you a license that you can immediately go in the market and start producing the medicine. If you have some invention, you have exclusive right to use it, but it do not automatically give you a right to produce it and put it in the market. So a patent only gives an inventor the right to prevent others from using the patented invention. It says nothing about whether the product is safe for consumers and whether it can be supplied. Patented pharmaceuticals still have to go through rigorous testing and approval before they can be put on the market. So there are other laws which are related to the medicinal, they have to comply with. So when you get an invention registered and got a patent, it do not give you automatic route or right to produce it and sell it in the market. So you have to go through a rigorous process. So government has put these restrictions so that the public health should not be compromised, because once you got a license, it doesn't mean that the consumers are safe from your medicines. So we have to ensure and test many other things while doing this. So what is the eligibility for patenting? Government can refuse grant of patent for three reasons. They may be related to public health. First is inventions whose commercial exploitation need to be prevented to protect human, animal or plant life or health. If testing of these kind of medicine is going to danger the life of the human being or animal or plant life for their health, that can be banned. They may exclusively deny that, though you have a patent on this particular compound which you have developed, but we don't allow you to market these in particular area. So they may be banned. You may have heard about it. There are certain medicines which are still saleable in India, but in other countries they have been banned. Similarly, there may be certain diagnostic, therapeutic and surgical methods for treating the human or animals which may not suit a particular country, that may be not be given any right to produce it in that country. So there may be certain plant and animal inventions which may not suit to your culture or may not suit according to your own country's requirement. So they may be banned. So under the TRIPS agreement, government can make limited exceptions to the patent rights, provided certain conditions are met. For example, the exceptions must not unreasonably conflict with the normal exploitation of the patent. So it should not be done from the political reasons or should not deny straightway their rights. But there may be certain reasons for that, for doing so. So accordingly, government may put restriction, but not because of political reason, but because of the health of the people or because of the well-being of the people. They may put certain kind of restriction. There is one Bolar exemption, which is a law which is based on the US, one of the very important case, which is known as Roche versus Bolar. So in this case, it was decided that government may put certain kind of restrictions, and accordingly, in India, Section 107A of the Indian Patent Act is known as India's Bolar exemption. So the fundamental objective of Section 107A is to delineate certain acts which are not to be considered as infringement. Otherwise, if somebody produces a medicine on the formula developed by the inventor to whom a patent is granted, he cannot do so, but under certain conditions. If he do so, that will be treated as infringement, but under certain conditions, government may allow others, and if they produce medicine on the basis of the formula which is produced by an inventor or patentee, that will not be treated as infringement. This case was decided in case of Boiler versus Roche versus Bolar, Bolar exemption, which is known as, and in America this act is known as Waxman Act. So as far as this law is concerned, when issue comes to granting patents for pharmaceutical, government has to look for a wider perspective. That is not only encouraging research and development, but also making the pharmaceutical products, medicine easily affordable and available in the market, thereby protecting the public health and nutrition. So this was decided under this case. because Roche was producing a medicine, and after some time, Bolar collected the evidences of the compound which was used in the development of the medicine by Roche, and they developed some alternative medicine which was known as generic medicine. And then Roche goes to court that why the Bolar has done it. So then court decided that when the issue of protecting the public health and nutrition is concerned, issue of providing the easily affordable and available medicines in the market is concerned, government may allow others to produce such kind of medicine by further research and development. And if alternative or generic medicines are developed, that will not be treated as infringement as per the act. So therefore, this exception was made. So in India, we made amendment in the act in 2005. The relevant provisions are reiterated below. For example, for the purpose of this act, what the Bolar exemption says, for the purpose of this act, any act of making, constructing, using, selling, or importing a patented invention solely for uses reasonably related to the development and submission of information required under any law for the time being in force in India or in a country other than India that regulates the manufacture, construction, use, or sale of any product, that you can do it. Secondly, importation of a patented product by any person from a person which is duly authorized under the law to produce and sell or distribute the product shall not be considered as infringement of the patent right. So it will not be considered as an infringement if you produce it after doing research and development. So in the recent notification by the Indian government, it has been clearly informed to the medical association and their registered doctors that they should prescribe only generic medicines need to be prescribed to the patients. So because generic medicines are less costly and that is affordable by the public. So if somebody has developed generic medicines after research and development using the same kind of mixture of compound which were earlier developed by some inventor and which is patented, and they are using it for the public cause, providing less costly medicine, then they can use it. This will not be treated as an infringement of the patent act. So cost of any generic medicine is very, very less comparative to the parallel patented drugs. So in order to prepare a drug, most of the generic companies rely on the patented drugs. They use their formula, made certain ramifications in it. So a patent drug is usually protected for 20 years by way of rights conferred under Section 48 of the Patent Act 1970. So if we will not allow to produce less costly, effective medicines, then for 20 years the people will have the monopoly, and on the other hand, the health of the public will be at stake. So patent holder has the monopoly right. So this monopoly right needs to be curbed, and the Bolar exemption applicable within this protection period wherein patented drug has been used by third or interested parties for further research and development. So they can do so. So this will not be treated as infringement. So in simple words, we can say that the exemption that enable generic manufacturer to experiment with patented drugs and produce them in limited quantities for research is also known as Bolar exemptions. This will not be treated as what you say infringement. So this exemption enable generic drug manufacturer to use an inventor pharmaceutical drug before the patent expires. Even 20 years has not been completed, even then you can produce these drugs. So because the public health is involved, which not only aids in the early launch of the generic versions of the drugs once the innovative drug patent terms end, but also promote further research and development. So this is to break the monopoly of the person who has initially produced it, because the public health is more important for us than any other thing. So for this purpose, there is a concept of compulsory licensing. Compulsory licensing is what? Compulsory licensing is when the government allows someone else to produce the patented product or process without the consent of the patent owner. This will they do only when it has been cases arise that now public health is more important. The original inventors developed medicine is very costly. The people cannot afford it. Then they can give compulsory license to anybody to develop the generic medicine and sell it in the market, so that the people may have benefited of it and their health is protected. So in current public discussion, this is usually associated with pharmaceutical, but it can also be applied in patent in any field. So it's not there that only drug patent is there and they can be done this thing. So if wherever the public health is involved, the cause of the public is involved, the government may remove these kind of protection which is given to the original inventor. So the agreement allow compulsory licensing as a part of the agreement's overall attempt to strike a balance between promoting access to existing drugs and promoting research and development in the new drugs. So this will serve the two purposes. Number one, it will provide the access to the public the medicine which is cost effective. Secondly, it will also promote research and development in the new drugs. So that is the basic purpose of granting the compulsory licensing. So similarly, but the term compulsory licensing does not appear in the TRIPS agreement. Instead, some other phrase is there, because in TRIPS, compulsory licensing term is not there, but in Indian Act we have incorporate. So in TRIPS, the phrase other use without authorization of the right holder is there. So that means in India we use the term compulsory licensing, but in TRIPS the term uses other use without authorization of the right holder. Other use means when it is exigency, when it is a cause of the public health, we have to give this exemption. So compulsory licensing was only a part of this sense. Other use includes use by the government for their own purposes. So they can lift the restrictions. They can put the rights of the original inventor at hold and allow others to produce the manufacturing of the goods. So in Doha Declaration also, there are various rounds of the WTO agreement. So Doha is one of them. So each member has a right to grant compulsory licenses and freedom to determine the grounds upon which licenses are granted. So in case of a drugs, government may give license to anybody, may give compulsory license to anybody. So each member, because India is one of the member of the WTO, so we are also part of the TRIPS. So therefore we have the right. For example, each member has a right to determine what constituted national emergency or other circumstances of extreme urgency where it is understood that public health crisis, including those relating to HIV, AIDS, TB, malaria, and other epidemics, can represent a national emergency or other circumstances of the extreme emergency. So in that case, government may allow others to manufacture the drug without the permission of the original inventor. So the effect of the provision in the TRIPS agreement that are relevant to the exhaustion of intellectual property right is to leave each member free to establish its own regime for such exhaustion without challenge, subject to most favored nation and national treatment provisions of Article 3. So here the government has a wider power to grant compulsory license to produce any kind of drug even without the consent of the original inventor. Here that will not be treated as infringement. So this was the one of the topic which I think I consider myself that we should discuss, because in patent drugs and the pharmaceutical patents are very important aspect where we need to consider all these. So this was related to that. So one thing I want to say to all of you, tomorrow at 11 a.m. we are going to organize a national seminar on Zoom. The link has been sent to you. It is compulsory for everybody, every student of MCOM and MCOM BI to attend it, because we have certain officials from the Ministry of Finance also, which will be telling you what is the concept of economic slowdown in India and what is going to have its impact on our all resources. So today it is enough. Today I will not be able to take much of your time because we have to prepare for that also. So good luck to all of you. Now you can on your video so that I can see who are attending this class. Okay, day after tomorrow we'll be taking certain questions on this topic also. So read. again and again listen this lecture because this is very important. There are basically two, three concepts in it. One is Bolar concept, one is compulsory licensing concept, and what are the things which are of national emergency, why pharmaceutical and drug patents are related to our health and providing cheaper medicines to the other. So these are the concepts which we discussed today. So I hope you will all listen it to again and again. After a few minutes, I will be putting it on my YouTube channel and presenting you the link. So at 11, just 10 minutes before 11, you must all join on the seminar. The link has been sent to you for this regard. So thank you very much. We'll be meeting day after tomorrow.